Hello everyone, this is Tucker Hazel here at MDEV 2025, and this is our creator conversations today. We're talking to Eric Biessman from Raven Software Corporation. I want to make sure to say the entire legal name, not get in trouble.
So that's great. Excellent.
But Eric here is Senior Creative Director at Raven. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right, and we're here to talk about MDEV, games in the Midwest, and Eric's job. And Eric, I'm so happy to have you here. Why don't you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about Raven and who you are?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Eric. I've been at Raven for way long time, 31 and a half years. Started out, we were working on Heretic, Hexen, and so it's been really cool to see how the industry has changed over the years. But yeah, I think the biggest piece is we've been in Madison since it was started. We're definitely a Wisconsin studio. The two brothers that formed it were from Verona, Wisconsin, and when they actually sold to Activision, they had it in their contract that we'd never move because they love the area and it's just such a great place. So that's high level. Is that good enough?
Well, I think that actually leads very perfectly into the next question is, what unique opportunities being in the Midwest bring to Raven? You've been here for 35 years. Happy 35th anniversary to Raven. But there aren't a ton of major developers in the Midwest. Raven is one of the most notable. And so what do you feel, having been there for 30 years and living your life in the Midwest, what are the unique opportunities of being in the Midwest for specifically game development?
Yeah, I think, if you go on the coast, especially California and, honestly, both coasts. There's a lot of studios across there, very close to each other, so there's a lot of connection, which is good, but it's also bad because you get a lot of people that go in between studios. What I really truly love about the Midwest is, this is sort of the cheesy thing, but Midwest nice is real. Yeah. It's a real thing, and
you're not coastal elite.
Well, and not even like to tear anybody else down, but just. I grew up around here and I love it. I love seasons, but the people, when you get someone who will stay at a job and embrace it and work through minus 40-degree weather, there's something about it. But then additionally, there were a lot of studios in Chicago, and the industry can be up and down. There still are studios in Chicago, but there's not as many. So I think what's nice is that we are separated enough from everything else, but we're also able to connect because of technology. Yeah. So that's what I appreciate about it.
Yeah. Well, what's something that people might not realize about game development or the history of game development in the Midwest? You've been here for 30 years. I'd say you're kind of an expert to ask about something like that.
Yeah, well, one, I think, Brian and Steve Raffel, again, the guys that started Raven, they were trailblazers, in my opinion. Not just saying that because one's my boss, Brian Raffel. But they really were. They started, they created, they just wanted to do it. It was a passion project. Mm-hmm. And so, kudos, 35 years later, it's still going. And but I think the biggest thing for me is to see how many indie studios there are now, how many people, there's a passion. When I started, there was an industry, but it wasn't an industry. I can remember my mom and dad saying, oh, you're going to make video games? Because I grew up on the Atari VCS, and I was a Sega kid. No offense, Nintendo lovers, but I was a Sega kid. And so there was never this thought as a child that I'm going to make video games, and it's going to be my whole adult life. Yeah. But I think, I'm all over on that answer. Long story short is that, especially in the Midwest, I think it allowed me to stay by my family. It allowed me to stay in a place that I wanted, and I got to travel. I got to do all these cool things, and I got to be creative. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, that's what game development is. So,
yeah. Well, what about the games that personally inspire you? It can be ones from your childhood, maybe ones that you're playing now that are really exciting you about the potential of the industry. Yeah. Anytime throughout your life, what are some of those games that really juice you up?
Yeah. So my first love was Yar's Revenge. Classic Atari VCS shooter. I would play that for hours. And then even the not so great port of Pac-Man on the Atari, my mom would play with me. She would go make dinner for an hour and I would just play, and then I would die and she'd play for 1 second, and then she'd, those are just special memories because I was a kid. But then I got into games there's one called The Bard's Tale, and it's a EA classic. I still play it every few years. I pull it out and crank it out. It's a tough game. But nowadays, I think I'm constantly blown away by where technology is and where we're going. I just put in probably like 50 some hours into Ghost of Yotai.
Oh, yeah.
Like I love Ghost of Tsushima. Like they're just great. I never thought I'd be an open world game fanatic,
Sure.
but I am.
Yeah.
And then just the fact so my kids are in their 20s, and just the social side, they still play games. They still connect with games. I think that's so even from Minecraft still to Fortnite, Call of Duty, like all these games that you can just get together with your buddies and go do things. Like I think that's what's amazing. So.
Do you have any social games that you play yourself, or is that kind of an area? What's your experience with that?
It's so making Call of Duty games. I play a lot of Call of Duty at work, and so I'll play it. My buddies will sometimes hit me up. Hey, we're going to jump back in. We're going to go do this. A lot of it's Warzone, but I think as far as like social gaming right now, I'm trying to there's no just because I've been sucked into Ghost of Yotai, and then before that I was I've played Hades 4 times. I can't, just there's so many things. So I'm actually, because I think I make online games, I play single player games more at home.
Yeah, you want to separate yourself a little bit.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, what about MDEV in particular? What does it mean for Raven, for Madison, for Wisconsin, for the Midwest?
Yeah.
You guys are kind of the Madison studio. That's where we are here right now for MDEV. So what does MDEV mean for your team in a larger sense?
Yeah, so I just think MDEV in general is an amazing experience for people that are in this industry or want to get in the industry. I love that it's showcasing the Midwest. There's this sense of community. Last night there was a pre-meet, right? It was there's some platform talking, and it just was meet some people again.
Yeah, we had it was like a red carpet, and we had photos. It felt like a real thing.
Yeah, and what was cool is that, I guess, being here for 31 whatever years, and Madison, and seeing all these other studios, there's a Apex Legends, so there's a Respawn studio in town. There's so many indies around here. There's so many great things, and it was cool to be oh, I worked with you 20 years ago. Hey, what are you up to? It was this reunion. So, and I think in general, it just shows the community, right? And so I think at its core, MDEV just is an amazing way to support the community. And then I talked to people that one person had flown out from Seattle, and I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah, I came here from Texas, so pretty far away.
Which is awesome, right? And hopefully you feel welcomed and included, right? And so I think that's a big part. And then as far as the studio side, I know just more interesting games and getting more vocal about games is great. This is a great mouthpiece for it. It shows people that maybe don't know we have an industry here. And I know that there's always things that are trying to be done about laws, tax breaks, or how we have movie, like Atlanta has the movie break and stuff like that. So I think all of these kind of help on a corporate level, but really I think the most important piece for me is it's the networking, the sense of community, and then really letting people talk to each other and meeting new people. So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, that does it here for the Creator Conversations at MDEV 2025. Thank you very much, Eric, for joining me, telling me a little story about you and Raven, and stick around for more conversations and continue to check out MDEV.